Very good. All right. So that brings us to what crazy thing did Alliant Credit Union do this week? So Alliant Credit
Right.
Union, oh my goodness, Alliant. They decided to go ahead and make their cashback Visa card a much better card, but they couldn't just keep it easy. Couldn't keep it
So
simple.
hold on a minute. So
Okay,
Alliant is
right.
the card that was the flat 2.5% cash back everywhere with no foreign transaction fees. So what could be better than that? How did they make it better than that?
Well, they started by making it worse. And so that, when you make
Right.
something worse, then it gives you at least a little room to make it better. Because about a year ago, they started limiting the rewards. You could only earn that 2.5% back on the first 10,000 spend each month. And that might not sound so bad, except they also increased the annual fee at some point to $99 per year. So, it kind of became a game of diminishing returns. You're only going to beat that 2% card by so much, depending on how much you spend. And so it had gotten a little less interesting than it was when it launched a few years ago anyway. So it was a bit of a bummer. And so now they have turned things around a little bit. So a year ago, like I said, they had said 2.5% on the first 10,000 spend each month, and then no rewards after that, which might sound reasonable. You might say, well, I don't spend more than $10,000 on a single credit card in a month. And I mean, okay, of course, yes, that's probably true for the vast majority of people, but they were targeting people with higher incomes and theoretically higher expenses. And to me, the more annoying thing was, if you hit an expensive month where you got a big vet bill or hospital bill or car needs a repair or whatever it might be, I mean, what, do you got to sit there and go through all your transactions and figure out, am I over? Am I going to no rewards anymore? And blah, blah, what a pain. So, so I wasn't too thrilled with that, but now they announced that they're going to make it better. And so their way of making it better was that they decided, okay, we're not going to give you no rewards anymore after you hit 10. We'll give you the 2.5% on up to 10,000 spend per month per billing cycle, and we'll take away the annual fee. And then after you've
that's
spent,
very nice.
That is very nice. And after you've spent $10,000, earned your 2.5%, you'll earn 1.5% rewards on anything above that. As long as you stand on your head and rub your eyeball and pat your tummy, and they give you some things you got to do in order to be able to get that deal. So they created 2 tiers for the card. So people who don't put in any effort are going to get 1.5% cash back. So the 2.5% card now suddenly becomes a 1.5% card for the people who aren't going to jump through any of the extra hoops. But if you want to jump through extra hoops, the hoops now are that you have to have an Alliant high yield or high interest checking account, and you have to have an average daily balance in that account of $1,000. So the high yield checking account has pretty simple requirements. For that account, you need to make a deposit every month of some sort, an electronic deposit. So it could be a mobile check, it could be an ACH transfer.
Is this to keep that account for free or to?
No, in order to get the 2.5% cash back. So they're eliminating the annual fee altogether. So there's going to be no annual fee. And as far as that checking account, I don't think there are any fees on the checking account to begin with. But in order to get the 2.5% cash back, you have to have the high yield account and an average daily balance of $1,000. And to have the high yield account, you need to have one deposit every month. And like I said, could be a mobile check, could be an ACH.
But this is what I don't get. So you have this checking account, and if you don't do this deposit every month,
then it's not a high yield. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you wouldn't get the high yield anymore of it, so to speak.
Okay.
You wouldn't qualify for the high yield checking, which is like 0.25% APY. So don't get too excited when you hear
so
high yield.
There's sort of like two different 2-level tiers going on here, right? There's the 2-level tiers of your checking account.
Right.
It's either high yield or
not
low
high
yield,
right? No yield. I don't know.
and then the credit card is either, let's call it high yield 2.5% up to 10K, or low yield 1.5%.
So if you want the high yield credit card, you need the high yield checking, and if you want the high yield checking, you have to make the deposit, and you have to keep it. Oh, and you need e-statements. You got to opt in for the e-statement. So if you like paper in the mail, this card is not going to be for you anymore because you can't do that. You got to have the e-statement. You got to have the deposit. You got to have the.
So what Alliant's done? So one of the reasons we often tell people maybe you're better off with a cash back card instead of doing the points and miles thing, is because points and miles thing is complicated in order to get the maximum value. And if you just want something simple, go for like a 2% cash back card or whatever. It used to be 2.5% with Alliant. If you want to keep things simple, but they're like, no, we want to compete with those other guys and make things really complicated so that the people who like the complicated stuff will come to us because we're looking for more complication in life.
Clearly, that's what they're
but
looking
without
for. Clearly.
Right. But their cash back, there's no like transfer partners or anything like that to get outsized value from your rewards, right?
No, just cash. Yeah, your outsized value is all on you to be a bargain shopper, I guess, with your cash. So, and I'm making it sound more complicated than it really is. Because truth be told, if you've got a checking account anywhere else, you can probably automatically do a transfer of $1 every month. You can probably just set that up to do $1 a month in perpetuity forever and ever, and you would be able to keep that as long as you keep $1,000 in the account and just set that up one time in an external account. You could probably easily do this, but it adds a lot of complexity. And then it's 2.5% on the first 10,000, and then 1.5% beyond that. So then you have to think about, okay, well, so that means that I've got to spend less than $20,000 a month, because if you spend more than 20 now, you're going to earn a rate of return that's less than a 2% cash back card, and you jump through some extra hoops and you put $1,000 in an account that only earns 0.25% interest in order to earn less than a 2% card. So you do still kind of have to keep track, though. Of course, I imagine for most people, it's not going to be hard to make sure they're under $20,000 in transactions a month, but still it makes it just a little extra complicated. Like, I have to explain all that to tell you about it, and you had to stop me like 3 times, and you're correct, the frequent miler, like, come on, explain that to the average person.
Right. This is
crazy.
This is nuts. This is nuts.
Well, so then as if that isn't nuts enough, they added some terms and conditions here. And so there's a couple of new terms. One is that you have to have a minimum redemption of $50. So you can't redeem like 10 or 25 or 30 or 40 or 49. It's got to be a minimum of $50 in cash back to redeem. And then I don't know if this is new or just something that I newly caught. I didn't actually look back at the old terms, but cash back is going to expire now. And listen to the way that it's worded. It says cash back will accrue over 5 calendar years and will expire on a rolling first in, first out annual basis. Cash back earned in a calendar year will expire on the December cycle date of the 4th calendar year following the year in which it was earned. For example, any unredeemed cash back that you earned in 2021 will expire on your December 2025 cycle date. So it's not even like December 31st. It's your December 2025 cycle date. Unredeemed cash back earned in 2022 will expire on your December 2026 cycle date, etc. I was like, what? Huh? If I need to read it 3 times to understand when the cash back expires, it's too complicated. And on a rolling basis, what? Like, so first in, this whole first in, first out. So you can't keep your cash back alive. If you leave your cash back where it's not earning any interest at all, and Alliant,
I mean, why would you want to?
So
the issue is if you have less than $50 accumulated, right? So if you're not using it enough, then so
or if you just hang on to it for a long time and leave it there, and you're like, all right, I'll buy myself something nice someday. Which,
like, I mean, you forget about it or something.
Not necessarily a good idea, but at the same time,
you should at least move it to that high yield checking account you got
for your 0.25% back. That's right. Of course you should. Of course, but I mean, come on now. How many of us have kept rewards in an account like for way longer than we probably should have? And then you're gonna remember like 3 years from now which one's like on its way out and which one's not on its way out.
I think what they're doing is they want to keep that 2.5% number as like a headline, and they want to headline the new no annual fee, and they're looking for all kinds of ways to have breakage, basically make sure that people don't really earn 2.5% and pull it out of them. So
that's some city life stuff. That's city.
Yeah, it's just too complicated. I mean, I don't want to have to like ever have this conversation about this Alliant card again. It kind of makes my head hurt.
If you already have the Alliant card, I personally think it's a no-brainer to toss $1,000 in the checking account and just automate it. But if you don't already have the Alliant card and you're not familiar with the Alliant card, I mean, good luck making sense of it. I don't want to waste the time explaining it to somebody either, because it's like I know by the time I'm done explaining, they're going to be like, "Oh, that sounds too complicated." It's just a waste of time, right? I mean,
Right.
Forget about it.
Absolutely.
Forget about it.
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.